Welcome back. This is Morris Dimba, and today we're moving to on how we can create the canvas still frame. Where this still frame is the one that will be holding the advertising information. I mean the billboard itself, the printed canvas. So we have our column in place, and we have our supporting frames in place. So we want to create the frame itself that will be supported with all these, with these steel members. But as this is not complete, we are moving step by step until we get to the final stages. Now, let's first of all create guidelines using the points. And to get the points, we'll come to edit, then come to points here, and I'll click on that drop down arrow. Then under points here, we have so many options on how you can create your point. So first of all, I have to create the midpoint between these two members here. So what I'm going to do, it's very simple. I'll come to points, then pick on that online option, and I want to pick the midpoint from here and move all the way to the midpoint here, to the midpoint right there. So if I right click and click interrupt to terminate that point command and click OK, I'll get my midpoint in here. So the still frame I'm going to create is a still frame, a frame that will be able to hold a canvas of 6 by 8 meters that will be printed by the printer, and that canvas will be held or will be held firm on the steel frame we are going to create step by step until we finalize on the final step. Now I've created the midpoint here, and the length of this particular, or the width of this particular canvas or steel frame I'm going to create will be 8, and the height will be 6 meters. So the midpoint here, I want to offset this. I want to offset this by 4 meters on the y-axis. You can see the y-axis is pointing in the opposite direction. So on the y-axis here, I'll just type a negative there and prefix that and add 4 meters there, or 4,000 millimeter. So I'll go ahead and click copy. So if you see that, you can see that from the center here to this end is 4 meters. So I'll select the midpoint here, select the point at the midpoint here, then right click and come to copy. And I want to hold this point from this far end. I want to hold it from that end and place it on the same point, and this will give us an offset of 4 meter, another 4 meter, making it a total of 8 meters. So if I take a measurement between this point and this point here, by taking the measurement tool there, from that end to this end, this is 8 meters. So that will be the width or the width of our steel frame that will be holding the canvas, that will be having the information that the advertiser need the audience to notice. Now we have this in place. So what we want to do, we want to offset this below by 2 meters, taking into account we offset down by 2 meters, taking into account the 0 level. From zero level to the bottom end of the steel frame, maximum height should be, a minimum height should be 6 meters. So below the frame, we must have allowance of a minimum of 6 meters, so that even a truck can pass, anything can pass there without the advertising frame interfering with the height of any vehicle or anything passing beneath. Now I'm going to select that point and select that point, then right click and come to special copy. So if I come to special copy, then pick on linear option. I'm going to change everything to 0, then come to Z axis, and I want to offset these 2 points you're seeing here I've selected by 2 meters below. Now I'll come to Z, then prefix my 2 meters by negative sign right there and type 2 meters or 2000 millimeter, then click OK. So I have my 2 points below. So if I take a measurement from 0 level here to here, it must be 6 meters. We can also check that. If I check that from that point to here, you can see it's approximately 6.3, which it is within minimum. Now, from here, from this point, I'll select these two once again, right click and come to spatial copy, and I want to take it up by 6 meters. So in here, I'll just type 6 meters or 6,000 millimeter and click copy. So I'll have my points, my 4 points, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this defines the height of our billboard frame. So if I confirm that, we'll see at the bottom end here it is 6 meters. Now, from using the 2 points, the 4 points I've created, this will help me. This will act as a guideline in placing my steel to define the steel frame. So I'll come to steel here, then come to beam, then I'll just snap on that spot and snap on that spot, then come here and define that, then from that spot to this spot, and from that to this. Don't mind about the size or the profile type. Once we've defined the profile or how the shape will look, or how the steel frame will look, or the shape or its shape in general, this is how it will look. Now, the next step, we are going now to define the particular or the specific steel profile or steel size to be in this location or in this position. So if I take a look, if I zoom it or to rotate it from that spot, you'll be able to see I have that in place. So now we come to now rearranging or positioning these steel members. So I'll double click on this member, and you can see this is 50-50 by 4 millimeter, which is kind of small. I'll click on that radio button to take me back to profile catalog, where I'll get a huge catalog list where I'll be able to pick the appropriate steel member, and I'll pick 65 by 50 by 6 millimeter, or we can just go by the first one, 5 millimeter will be okay. Now I'll go ahead and click apply and give it an okay there, then come here and click modify to accept the changes we've just created. So in here, if you take a look how this member has been placed here, it's more of not of a preference. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just play around with it so that it positions itself in the best way possible. So I'm going to double click on it once again and come to these positions here. So I want to play with these 3 options, which the 3 options has another 3 options within them that can help us rearrange this. So prior to that, coming to that option, let's first of all change everything to 60 by 50 by 5 millimeter thick. So I'll select, first of all, select that, then copy this, right click and come to copy. Then I'll come here and double click there and press Control and hold on, select on that, press Control and select on that. Then I'll come here and paste that 65 by 50 and click OK, and that will change everything. So I'm going to rearrange this. I'll double click on it and come to rotation and turn it back to turn it to below, and that is not the best arrangement I would like it to have. So I'll come back and rotate that to top, and that is not the best option. I'll come back to front, and that is not the best, and come to back, and that's okay. If I come to rotate and take that like that, that will be okay. Then if you take a look, it's slightly way off the point that we had defined. So to take it back to that position, we'll play with the middle option here. So the middle option, I may pick up there and take it away. That will take it away. And if I take down there, that will take it back. So you can see it's closer to that point. So it is within our defined parameter. Then I'll use now this one, the horizontal, take it left or right, then take it there. So that might take it slightly away. If I use middle, that will put it in the best position. So it is the middle right there. Now I'll go the other side and I'll copy this, just double check on this, and this will be down, back, middle, and I'll apply the same this side. So if I come here and double click on this, and I come here and click maybe a left, then come back on this side and check that which options we had used. If I double click there, we'll be able to see if we have down, back, and middle. So I'm going to apply the same here. Double click there, and I'm going to use maybe left, and maybe back, and click OK. So that is not the best option, and let me use the rotate or use top. Let me use back, let me use below, and that is not the best rotation. Let me give it front. So front is okay, and I'll come here and use behind right there, and that will be okay, and let me apply middle. So that is the best position I want that to be on. So if I come up here once again and zoom closer, and if I press Ctrl R, and I'll be able to see the rotation or the position of the top member is not in the best position I want it. I want it the back to face up, the back of this steel to face up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on it and come here and use this rotate, and you apply back, and that will rotate it, and I'll come to depth and pick and give it front, and see whether give it behind and see whether it will reposition itself perfectly well, but it's not in the best arrangement of my preference. So I'll just use the option here, rotate, and I'll pick front, and if that rotates like that, that will be okay. But let me just undo that. Let me turn that to front and turn that, and turn this once again to top, and click that. So this you play around with this until it takes the position of your choice of the best position. So where it is where is how I want it to be, because the canvas will be fixed within the parameters we've defined. So if I zoom out and come this far end, you find everything is quite okay. So if I press Control or come to View and pick navigate with the rotate with mouse, and that is how it looks. So that's it, and let's meet on the next presentation on as we move further in adding more members, or defining or detailing the steel frame that will be holding the advertising canvas. So let's meet then on the next presentation. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This was Bye bye.